Hi everyone! Today we're gonna talk about something that affects our planet and our daily lives. Food waste. Did you know that here in the Philippines, a lot of food are thrown away every day while many families still go hungry? What worse is that all those food wasted are just thrown and doesn't disappear at all. It often ends up in landfills, producing methane gases that harm our environment. By reducing food waste, we're not only saving food, but also conserving our natural resources. So join us as we explore how addressing food waste can help build a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable Philippines. Eco living starts at home, our composting journey.
With what most people throw away. I'm starting by chopping onion peels, orange peels, banana peels, cucumber, potato, and green bean peels into tiny pieces. Finely chopping helps the materials break down faster, letting microbes do their job more efficiently. Each ingredient brings something special to the mix. Let's say onion peels are rich in potassium and calcium, strengthening the plant roots. Orange peels add nitrogen and a pleasant citrus scent that keeps pests away. Banana peels are full of potassium and phosphorus, perfect for flowering and fruiting plants. Cucumber peels bring moisture and fiber, helping balance dry materials. Potato peels and carbohydrates that fuel microbial growth, speeding up decomposition. And green bean peels, packed with nitrogen, keep the compost active and alive. Every peel may look like waste, but together they form the foundation of healthy living soil. This is where my composting journey begins, turning everyday scraps into nature's purest fertilizer, basically turning trash into gold. Our natural composting journey. Once the kitchen waste was ready, it was time to build the layers of the compost, the foundation of the entire process. We began by preparing a pot that already has small holes on the bottom. These holes allow oxygen to circulate freely, preventing the compost from becoming anaerobic. Composting is an aerobic process. It depends on air just as much as it depends on moisture. For the first layer, we used shredded newspaper and dried leaves, which are our carbon-rich brown materials. They help absorb excess moisture and provide structure, allowing air to move through the mix. The browns are like the skeleton of compost. They give shape and balance to the organic waste. On top of this, we added a thin layer of greens, the finely chopped fruit and vegetable peels I had prepared earlier. These are nitrogen-rich materials that provide food for the microorganisms responsible for decomposition. The interaction between the carbon from the browns and nitrogen from the greens keeps the compost biologically alive. We continued alternating between these two, the browns and the greens, creating several layers. This careful pattern ensures a balanced ratio, which is essential for a healthy decomposition. Too many greens can make the compost wet and smelly, while too many browns can slow down the process, which is why we should keep the ratio on 50-50. Finally, I seal the top layer with a thin layer of soil. The soil not only keeps away fruit flies and insects but also introduces natural microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and actinomycetes that begin breaking down the organic matter. In this way, each layer plays a vital role. Together, they form a miniature ecosystem where air, moisture, and microbes work in harmony to transform waste into rich, dark compost. This is how the compost looks like right after the layering process. I added a little bit of shredded newspaper and leaves just so it should absorb the excess moisture if it has so. We'll leave it like this overnight. After leaving the compost overnight, the next morning it was time to wake it up. Composting is not just about layering materials. It's about creating the right environment where microbes can thrive. I gently mixed the entire pile using a spoon, making sure the greens, browns, and soil were evenly combined. This helps air reach every part of the compost, preventing compact spots where decomposition might slow down. Then I sprayed water evenly over the mix, checking the moisture level carefully. The compost should feel like a damp sponge, not too dry but not dripping wet either. Moisture is essential because microorganisms needs water to stay active and break down the organic matter efficiently. After every spray, I mixed again, allowing the water to spread evenly through the soil and kitchen waste. This process helps the decomposition start faster, as the microbes begin to feed on the nitrogen from the greens and carbon from the browns. By the end of the process, the mixture looked uniform and slightly moist, the perfect texture for composting to begin naturally. From this point onward, the real transformation starts quietly, deep inside the pot where waste begins turning into life-giving soil. For the next few days, I continued to mix the compost once every day. Each time, I made sure the contents stayed loose and airy so oxygen could circulate easily. Oxygen is vital for aerobic bacteria, the tiny organisms that power the entire decomposition process. Without them, composting would simply stop. I also kept checking the moisture level regularly. When it seemed a little dry, I sprayed a light mist of water and mixed again, making sure the material stayed evenly moist. The combination of air and water keeps the microbes alive and active. Slowly, visible changes began to appear. The texture turned softer, and the sharp smell of kitchen waste faded into a mild, earthy aroma, a sign that decomposition was going perfectly. The mixture also started becoming darker in color, transforming from light brown to deep, rich tone. This dark color shows the formation of humus, the nutrient-rich part of compost that helps plants grow. The pot was also placed in a well-ventilated area where fresh air could flow freely. This simple step keeps the oxygen levels high and supports aerobic decomposition. Day by day, the materials lost their original shape and smell. What once looked like onion peels, fruit skins, and dried leaves now resembled fresh, fertile soil. By the final stage, the compost felt crumbly and smelled like clean earth after rain, a natural perfume created by healthy microbes. That's when I knew the compost was ready to use. This entire process, from collecting kitchen waste to creating a pure compost, shows how nature never truly wastes anything. Everything returns to the soil, completing the cycle of life. The compost we made can now be used in pots and gardens, enriching the soil, helping plants grow faster, and reducing the need for chemical fertilizers. From waste to worth. This simple process proves that even the smallest daily habit can have a lasting impact on the planet. In the final step, the compost was ready to be used. After days of careful mixing, aerating, and observing, the waste had turned into rich soil, full of nutrients. Here you can see the compost being added to a plant, and this is the moment everything comes full circle. What once was kitchen waste now becomes nourishment for new life. Compost adds organic matter to the soil, improves its texture, and helps plants retain moisture. It also provides natural nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the same elements found in chemical fertilizers, but in a safer and more sustainable form. From the kitchen to the soil, and from the soil to new growth. This cycle continues. Thank you.